Hey, hey, people. Okay. So it's another day with the Seamoss. I just wanted to show you what it looks like going through the drying process. I know I had a lot of inquiries about this. Is to see um, the, what we're working with as far as during the drying process. So you see the sand, it looks like it's coloring it, but it's not. It's just sand. And you're looking at my hands or yeah, yeah. So you can see like this beautiful full spectrum of color, right? Purple, green, and so I know some people are um, wondering like what what is the end game? Am I going to continue to do this? And are we not going to do the Exodus house anymore? No, we're going to continue to do the Exodus house. What we're looking for though are people who um, are ready to do something with this stuff, right? Because we have it available. Right? I think my position. I thought this was a good place to sit so that you can see the camera isn't really in a good spot. Like my backlight is going out. Let me turn it this way. Hopefully that is better. Yeah, this is much better. So you can see the colors, right? So um, I just want to show it to you during all the stages of the process. So you've seen it wet, you've seen it midway, and it's not fully dried yet. This is about three days old, and it's not fully dried, right? But you can see the spectrum of it. You can see the color is so consistent with all pieces, like the purple and this fluorescent green. It's drying very, very beautifully. And a lot of people mostly know about sea moss from Zanzibar, that they've turned into an entire aquaculture industry. But this is really mostly about this is Tanzania, right? This is not Zanzibar. So if we're able to do this and make this successful, we can revitalize this the Tanzanian brand um, of this popular product that everyone on the market wants to get their hands on. But it's not you rarely find sea moss from Tanzania. So this is this is definitely something. Well, I wouldn't say you rarely find it on the market. It's here. It's it's in Tanzania. People in Tanzania know of it in but it's in certain regions, and as I said yesterday, it's seasonal and it's not always available, right? So I wanted to do this little live so that the people who want to participate in the business can have an idea or can see. I don't know if you can even see. You can see what it looks like. I'm sitting near the ocean and it's very, very windy today. So I don't know if you can hear me. If you can hear me, please go ahead and send me, just drop a line in the comments that if you can hear me or not. So we're selling this by wholesale, um, not the finished product. And we're hoping to in the future, uh, go into the package retail space, right? But as you can see, the colors are amazing, and the colors are linked to the nutrients. And if you're looking to do something new in 2022 with your life, why not do this? Why not get on board with a product that is sustainable, a product that is in high demand, and a product that is humanely sourced, and a product that will give you your maximum return on investment, right? If you're looking to really fire start your 2022, this is a great way to do that. So I know a lot of people have sent me messages and they've sent about purchasing the product, but what I'm getting is a lot of consumer inquiries as well of people who just want to purchase for their own personal use. I'm not saying you can't do that for your own personal use. You can purchase from it for your own personal use. But you have to think about exactly where we are. We are at the end of the earth. We are literally at the end of the earth. We are in Tanzania, East Africa. We are at the edge of the Indian Ocean. And so it's not necessarily, I mean, it does make sense to ship to go through this entire process for small quantities, um, as it is, right? Because we don't have the resources to scale this, to vacuum seal it and ship it. And as you can see, the drying, it's a process. It takes a minute to dry properly. For some, what I've been doing is I'm leaving the stems in. Um, and as I dry, I take it out. I see a couple of you are in the chat. Could you please let me know if you can hear me? Right? So then I remove this, but I want the moss to drink as much from this umbilical cord as possible before I get rid of it. So I don't know if that's the right way, but I'm going to do some research and I'm going to do some experimentation with with moving the thing. So you should all know, and you can do some research on the benefits of purple sea moss. And this is not just purple, it's purple and green. So it has like this purple and then this magenta and then it has this green. So I'm gonna brand this mermaid moss. All right, I'm gonna brand this as mermaid's moss because it's so ethereal and so fantastical, and it looks like the kind of stuff that that uh, in Technicolor that Disney mermaid movies are made of. It's just so pretty, right? There's nothing about it that isn't gorgeous. Just the way it feels, just the way it looks, and the um, the variety of this sea moss is not Gracilaria. It's not Gracilaria. Um, I'm going to type it in the comment. I'm going to type it in the comment when I finish the live because I don't want to say it and then you don't have the proper information to go and research it. So this kind of sea moss actually yields the most gel. You can actually get the most gel out of this. This is for, there are many industries that use this. Um, there, there are industries that use this particular moss to make thickening agents for their product, right? And so what we're looking to do with our stuff is we're looking to supply. At this point, I'm not sure what I'm not sure I'm able to move into the next level of this. I'm not going to say I'm not confident. I am very confident in what it can do, but with the resources that I have available to me, I have to be cognizant of what I can do and what I cannot do, what I can afford to do when, and what I can afford to do how. So I mean, if this begins to move a whole lot faster than all the other things that I'm involved in, then yes, I'm gonna have to go to consumer packaged goods. Can you all see? I don't even know if you can see. I just put the camera down. Um, I just put the camera in a place that I hope you can see. So yeah, so you can see the coloring of it. It's just gorgeous stuff. This is for people who would like to get involved in this business. Email me exodusafrica1@gmail.com. I know a lot of people have a consumer mindset, and not enough people are trained to be producers. And this is what these chats are about. When I do these chats and I talk about entrepreneurship, I'm talking about your ability to be a producer rather than a consumer. If you have been using this product then for years and you know the benefits, then you are a walking testimony for how this works, right? I am a walking testimony for how this works. I, Renee, was diagnosed with a brain tumor in 2013. I, Renee, went back to my country and ate my food and took this sea moss, not the purple. I took what was available in Jamaica at the time, which is the gold, right? And the gold it sells in Jamaica very cheap to Jamaican people. And I was able to use this for soup, porridge, everything. This, moringa, noni. I only ate fish. I had my breadfruit, my cassava. I had fruit for breakfast, and this. Okay. And after going back to Jamaica 2013, I'm sorry, 20. I went back to Jamaica 2013, then again in 2014, right? And every time I go to Jamaica, I bring this back with me. I bring it with me and I use it on myself. And prior to going to Jamaica, after I was diagnosed with a brain tumor, the endocrinologist told me that I will not be able to conceive, that my body was not producing um, an egg, which I thought was rubbish. But because of where the tumor was in my brain, in my pituitary, they were telling me that I would not be able to have children. So I said, bet. So I went to Jamaica and I took care of myself. I had a host of problems. I didn't have diabetes and I didn't have hypertension, but I had nerve issues. So, I was like, I'm sick and tired of spending all my money and time with these doctors in America. So, yes, yes. Chaz Chosen says I've been using it for years and it's definitely a superfood. I've seen this coloration labeled as black sea moss. Oh, okay, okay, yeah. So at this point, yeah. So I was saying, I what I did was I went back to Jamaica and I ate how I could eat. I ate how I could take care of myself. And the sea moss was a very, very big part of that. And I conceived JoJo um, within a year, okay? And when they went to go to find my brain tumor, it was not there. So this was a huge, huge, huge part of my healing process, right? And so I grew up with this stuff and I felt like I didn't like the way how the doctors were treating me in America. That how can you just write someone off and tell me that the next step for me is surgery? The next step for me was not surgery, and I said I'm not going to have no goddamn surgery because once they go into your brain, you're screwed, right? And I like my brain. I like the way how my brain works. I like my ideas. I like the way how I think. I like all that stuff about me, and I was not going to let them go and mess with my head. So I went home and I ate my food, and that helped me. And those of you who have been using this stuff for years, it's your opportunity to sell the stuff. Okay, to sell the stuff, you can make so much out of this. They're selling 1 ounces, 1 ounce, 1 ounce, 1 ounce sea moss for something like $25 of 1.7 ounce sea moss, right? So you more than have an opportunity for markup. We're way over here, so shipping is something, but we have to. There's also a lot of labor involved in this. So knowing what I know, I have to work hard to make sure that they don't lose their nutrients, right? So what we do is we get them and we put them down, and then when we initially get them, we put them down to drain the water, and then we put them on the line. And as we get the orders, we put them on the line, and we have to keep rotating by hand, not by any machine. We keep rotating and we move them out of the sun so that the sun doesn't bleach them, right? So maybe a little bit of sun got this, right? I'm not sure, but we move them away from the sun. And if you can see some white, that's kind of sandy, right? Um, yes, yes. Queenie says, she wish she was a shit salesperson because she would jump on it, and if you're not a salesperson, you can find someone who can or who will. I mean, you don't necessarily even have to be a salesperson in this day and age. Right now, knowing how to market is really where it's at, right? Knowing how to market and let the product speak for itself. So I was telling y'all that I healed myself with sea moss, my moringa, my fish, but I went to my country and I ate my own food that my body was accustomed to, and I got my vitamin D, and I got the kind of sleep that I needed to sleep in order to heal my body properly, right? And this was a very huge part of that. The gold variety that we get in well, they have purple now in Jamaica, but when I was there, on how I grew up, I know gold is typically the normal, right? So what I was saying was that I healed myself. I healed myself, and I conceived JoJo. The brain tumor diagnosed in 2013. JoJo was conceived and born in 2015. Okay, and when she was born, I knew exactly what to do with her. I fed her this stuff, right? And I kept JoJo in Jamaica we went when she was 1 month old, and I kept her for 1 year and 6 months in Jamaica. And when we were leaving Jamaica, I packed up. Her suitcase was filled with sea moss. Okay, her JoJo suitcase was filled with sea moss. That was her food, because I wasn't going to give her any kind of baby formula. I wasn't going to give her anything out of a bottle or anything like that. So yeah, so her baby food was the sea moss. So for those of you, I mean, that's something that you can look into, right? That's something that you can look into, because and when people come here and I tell people about how I fed JoJo, there are lots of moms who message me and ask me about her formula, right? What was her formula? So it's a handful of oatmeal, it's an inch of sea moss, right? So you can boil the sea moss, or you can just put it in the blender, or you can, or after the oatmeal, you boil it with the oatmeal, you put it in the blender, you tip a little bit of vanilla, you put a banana in there, a little bit of cinnamon, and what I like about that is I can also mix it with a cocoa powder. So with the cocoa powder, she got that as chocolate milk. So what she grew up asking for was chocolate milk. So the kids didn't have any clue that what she was having was sea moss. So it was sea moss, cocoa powder, oatmeal, a little bit of natural cocoa, some cinnamon, nutmeg, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of honey, or a tip of sugar, depending on how old the child is. If the child is pretty young, you don't use honey. But if it's an older kid that's like teething, you can use like a teaspoon of honey for the sweetening. In Jamaica, we have this thing called glucose, and this thing as well. It has a lot of natural sugars. It has a lot of saccharides in it, right? So the goal is to dry it properly, right? Dry it out of the sun. I don't want the sun to bleach them, and so I turn them. I turn them consistently to get them to remain as fluffy as possible. And then I keep, shaking them at every turning process to make sure that we're getting out the sand so that by the time it gets to you, there isn't that much to do. But at the same time, this is fine sand, right? This is fine sand. Like you can hardly, let me try to get close to the camera, right? This is very fine sand. Okay. It's really super, super, super fine. But we're trying our best to get it out. So if you know this product, if you know sea moss, and if you Google purple sea moss, and if you Google purple sea moss benefits, right, which I'm going to provide more information. If you Google purple sea moss and purple sea moss benefits, you can see that this thing is a natural immune booster. This thing can help so many people, especially in this time of uncertain health. And it's also good for mental wellness because I don't know, when you're physically doing well, your body also, your mind also starts to do well as well. And yesterday I said that these white things are the anchor roots. This is how the animal or the algae gets its nutrients. So wait, it's kind of windy today, so I don't even know if you can see anything. I don't even know what you can see. Okay, maybe that's better, right? Yeah, yeah, there you go. And there is a lot of counterintelligence out there talking about the that CMOS is not good, blah 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 blah. CMOS, I don't know about anyone else, but I know that CMOS has traditionally been used as human food. This is not something new, and not because the internet came up discovered CMOS means that CMOS means that all of a sudden it's here. It's always been here. So for this person up in the chat who is saying it's this, it's that, it has always been traditionally used. What you want to be careful of is chlorella. Chlorella is what you have to be careful of. Chlorella is a completely different animal, and you have to be certain of where it was harvested from. If it was harvested from Japan, then yes, you have to be conscious about any kind of radioactivity or whatever. Okay, but don't let these people who are trying to sell you their store-bought medicine that's made from uh, sea moss, okay, because most of the store bought medicines have this stuff in it, to then tell you, oh no, it's not good for you because A, B, C, X, Y, D, 1, 2, 3. I just said I was able to to cure a brain tumor and heal myself of a brain tumor and conceive a whole entire child, and all you can think about is to put something negative there. Well, so as you do some more reading and research and understanding, you can see that anything or anytime black people turn on to get themselves informed about things, informed about, a new business opportunity, at any time, you are going to always find some counter information. And this is definitely an industry that is dominated by black people. Okay, and let me turn this around so you can have a look at my face. This is an industry that is dominated by black people. You know why? Because the source of this of the sea moss comes from where black people live, of the quality of sea moss. You have the North Atlantic sea moss and the Irish moss that comes from, close to Ireland, UK, and Scotland. And the reason why those people started to eat that stuff is because they ran out of food, right? Is because they went through the potato famine and they ran out of food and they had no choice but to go back to eating what they used to eat, which is sea moss. But as far as a health beneficial product, it has always and consistently been used by black people. I know a lot of people only come up on the knowledge of sea moss that they discovered Dr. Sebi, but you need to get in a plane and go to Jamaica and find the oldest person you can find down there, and they will tell you about sea moss. Okay, this is stuff that our grandmothers and our great grandmothers and the people who come from the Caribbean region know about. Okay, Dr. Sebi is talking when he talked about sea moss, he was talking about knowledge that he knew from past down generations. He didn't go and discover sea moss. He didn't invent sea moss. So a lot of people have this perception that sea moss, the use of sea moss, is new just because they are brand new. Just because they are brand new to the information, they believe that the rest of the world is brand new. This is not true. And so, for those of you who would like to say this is that or that is this, please just go somewhere else. Go somewhere else about and have a conversation with people who agree with you, because you can tell I vehemently disagree with anyone who is going to attack natural foods and say this or that or something is wrong with this or that. Right before we started this, we had guests come to the house, and I discussed at length about how I healed myself and how I heal and what I fed to JoJo as a baby. Nothing out of a bottle, nothing out of a can. I'm sure those people who would like to tell you that sea moss is this and sea moss is that, they feed their kids straight out of a can. They probably don't even breastfeed their kids. Okay, so go have that conversation over there. Don't come over here with it. Anytime you find something that is indigenous to black people, you're going to find people who want to attack it, right? Most of the major suppliers of this quality sea moss are black folk because they come from where it grows naturally. Okay, the popularization of sea moss as a healthy food was only made by recent social media invention. So, what? When did YouTube come about? What? 2007, 8, 9? Do you think that people just started using CMOS in 2007? If Dr. Sebi was talking about CMOS in the 90s, do you really think that CMOS was being used in the 90s? This, the research on this goes back to the 1800s, and they only started to do the research on CMOS in the 1800s only because they noticed that people eat it. people consume it, people use it and do all kinds of stuff. Before anyone had a blender, or before anyone had industrialization, they were using CMOS. So it is one of the oldest and most ancient forms of human food. Okay, so uh, please stay away from me with all of your research and your negativity that is trying to cast a shadow and doubt on this. The one thing that they can't do is they cannot take back the research. They can't take back the beneficial value. They cannot take back the scientific research that follows CMOS and the nutrients and the density and how much nutrients are packed in it based on the coloring of it, right? So they can't take that back. So they can try to put shady information out there. Oh, it's not good because this is that and that and that and that. Okay, but they can't take back their own scientific research. Do you know why? Because there are so many species of sea moss, and every scientist wanted to have his name up on under some kind of scientific research and say, I discovered this and I discovered that and I did the research on this and I did the research on that and look what I found out. So the species, because there were so many different species, they were taken and researched, and so scientists continue to perform more and more research so that they can say what they found out. Okay, so if you are serious about this, you have to do some serious scientific research. Don't go by like what the internets are saying, or what YouTube is saying, or or what it says on the back of the package. Go and do some in-depth scientific research on this product, okay? Because it is one of the most recognized sources of antioxidants due to the color, and also the nutrient density for how the algae consumes their food from the rock. One of the higher sources of iron, and yes, and iron. I didn't have any issues with anemia before I left Jamaica. And so the sea moss in Jamaica is also a very good source of iron as well. So iron, um, the immune boosting agents are in sea moss, and the chlorophyll that you get out of this variety of sea moss is actually more beneficial than anything else. So please do not. Thank you. Thank you, Sunkiss. Yes, Caribbean folks, Sunkiss says, we've been using it forever. We weren't waiting for YouTube to use this. Okay, this is our food. It's naturally abundant in our environment. It's naturally abundant in our food supply. And it is as it says it is. It has so many nutrients. It's great for virility, and it's great for conception. Me personally, though, the sea moss drinks that they be selling in the Caribbean restaurant, I don't buy it. I don't buy it because I don't want to get frisky, because I know it works. I know exactly what it does, and it does keep all of your natural juices and all of your natural body parts moving and lubricating and doing exactly what it does. So no, we weren't waiting for YouTube or Dr. Sebi to use this. We were using it because it's naturally abundant and available in our environment. And the irony is, I'm from Jamaica, born in Jamaica, raised in Jamaica, and I use this product, and I only know it know the Jamaican kind, right? I only know the Jamaican product. So when this became available, it was like, no, that can't be, right? Yeah. Yes, and it's a good for the back. It's strong back. It's good for the back. It's good for the back. It's good for the front. It's good for everything. It's good for everything. And you know, they what I see the internet's doing is they tout a lot about, you know, the ability to conceive, and it cures PCOS, and there are people out there making stuff for it for women, but this stuff is for men. This stuff will cure some impotence. It will cure some erectile dysfunction. It will cure some low sperm count. I am not making it up. Go and do some research on it. It will increase the sperm motility. So the likelihood of you being able to conceive off of this stuff is extremely, extremely, extremely high, right? So don't take my word for it. You know what? This kind of product is the kind of stuff you maybe you people down south will understand better what I'm saying. Like, it's the kind of stuff that your grandmother will tell you about, like, oh, this is good, and you need to take that, you need to eat this, and blah blah. And we look at it like, but when you go and you do the research, the scientific evidence is there, in fact and in truth, that this stuff is actually good for all that old grandma said. And you can't, what do you call it? They can't take it back. They can't take it back because the research is out there, the documents are out there, the deep research is out there. Science, science, scientists needed to make their name by classifying and by determining the different nutrient qualities and value of each of these sea moss. And some were even taken from the Caribbean to try to be raised and grown in different places. And, you know, we call it Irish moss in Jamaica. The reason why we call it Irish moss, not just because it was used by the Irish in the potato famine, and so the Irish moss. No, there was a time in history where Jamaica was used as a almost a penal colony. Jamaica and Barbados, and when England and Ireland were at war, they captured a lot of Irish people, and they took them to Barbados and Jamaica and enslaved them down there. And so when those Irish people came to Jamaica and they saw us consuming it, they run, oh, our food is here too. Oh, great. And so that is how it has been adapted into our culture as Irish moss. It would be like, okay, Renee came to Tanzania, and you know, Renee starts to use this moss, and I'm like, oh, look, it's here, Irish moss. And then the poor Tanzanian people will start calling it Irish moss too, because they're like, okay, she's really into this stuff, you know. So so you have to understand, like, where we get these, you know, the way how we start to use the words. But that what we call in Jamaica Irish moss is not the same kind of Irish moss that is produced in Ireland. Okay, so it's a completely different genus, it's a completely different species, and it is more nutrient dense. And so there's a lot of research for eons, eons, and eons of research. You can go back to the 1800s and find factual data on the nutrient compound and nutrient value of sea moss. Okay, and so this is why I'm confident that I can say, okay, this is CMOS, and this is what uh yes, See, Sunkist says facts. We call it Irish moss. And sun, yeah, for now. Yes, thank you. Joseph just asked me if the sun is good because he knows I'm not trying to get the sun on these. Yeah. So they call the Irish when they got to Barbados, they call them red legs. Red legs because they were always out in that damn Caribbean Sea trying to get the sea moss. Or they were planting in the field, you know. So um, just be cognizant of how information is being filtered down to you. Now, I'm seeing where where people, are so deep into this CMOS thing. They're so deep into it, and they're running their businesses, and they're taking care of their family, and there's always someone to say, well, is that okay? It might not be okay for you, Becky, but it's definitely okay for us. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Believe it. It's okay. Purple hair, purple, green, it's okay. All right. So, um, for those people who want to know more, you can go ahead and email me, ExodusAfrica, the numeral 1 at gmail.com. What you need to be aware of is that if you're asking about the safety and blah, 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 yeah, it's safe. Look into different varieties. There's different varieties that are not safe, so you have to look at where chlorella and spirulina is sourced. That's that's something that I looked at in America as well. You have to make sure that you know the source of where all foods come from. But if you're concerned about other things, then do some more research on that. And these are not produced in any area. The ones that we have here, they're not produced in an area of heavy fishery or any kind of runoff or anything. They come from an area that is pristine, is in a cove, and um, they're on their own rock. And every so often, the wind dislodges them. I'm out here and you can see how windy it is. You could probably hear how windy it is, right? But every now and then, the wind dislodges them, and we get an opportunity to take them, right? So there are people out there taking care of their families. You can to email us, ExodusAfrica1 at gmail.com. Let me put that in there. Yes, I am serious about this stuff. You can see behind me how serious I am. Let's see. Let me put my email address in here. Okay. So for what it will cost you to get started in this business by purchasing this CMOS, it's an investment into something that if you were going to do something else, it would cost you a whole lot more money, right? It would cost you a whole lot more money. So for a small investment into purchasing some of this stuff and repackaging it or making it by the ounce, or taking a little bit. Because all you need is a little bit. You don't need to. You don't. If you purchase a 10-pound package of this, you're not going to use this whole thing. And you make gels or whatever or soaps. This is as much as you need. This is why the 2 ounces is so expensive, right? This is why it's so expensive because you don't need a whole lot. It is very strong. You can use it to make soaps. You can use it to make gels. You could use it to make let me see, jam. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Right. So yeah, there's a lot, do some research, go online, go and do, get the scientific data, get the information. And I'm going to write in the comment after the chat is up. I'm going to write in the comment exactly what the scientific name for this one is. It's actually popular, but not popular for Tanzania. It's not even popular for Zanzibar. So I tried to find more and more information about it, and I did. I'm not going to say I didn't find any information about it. What you will find, I can only speak about Tanzania. It's the only African country I've ever been to, but they are up on their knowledge. They're up on their research. They know all that they have available here to them, and if it's not being used now, if it's not an industry that is being that is rocking and rolling now, it used to be. So there is a lot of science here in Tanzania about this stuff. They have researched it. They have their whole industrial research on it. The thing is, they can identify where they have not been able to be successful in the marketplace, and that is because they haven't. There is not enough entrepreneurship skills. There is not enough. There is not enough education. There's not enough. There just isn't, enough to make it viable as far as being able to process it and scale it and gain the maximum amount of money that they possibly can for it. And so I want to try this out and see how this works, and probably if we're successful with this, we can demonstrate how, by following our blueprint, how this could be scalable and how this can, revive the industry in Tanzania. Because I would hate to think that there is a way that it can be viable, and it's not, right? So I'm just going to continue to do what I'm doing, getting it, drying it, and seeing where the pitfalls and where the opportunities are, and how the business is structured, and how to and how to bring more people, um, you know, to the market to make this an industry. Because the thing that I realize is that it's not a business, this is an industry. It's an industry. It is a whole entire industry. There's scientific research on this. They know about it. Probably maybe not at the local level, but definitely at the government and the scientific level. They know about it. They know about it, and they know that it's here, but they don't know how to reach the market and get it to where it can be a viable industry. And um and so let's try to see how far we can go with it, right? I don't know. Good. This way. Yeah, so you can see, I want to show you the color, how beautiful that is, right? So if you're looking to invest in something to jumpstart your 2012, 2012, your 2022, that was 10 whole years ago, to jumpstart, yeah, to jumpstart the your 2022, go ahead and email me. And a lot of other people who are supplying it, they don't have, they are out of this color. They're out of this variety, which is the most desired. And a lot of people who are supplying it, they're not the ones harvesting it. They don't know how it was dried, and they don't know how it was harvested. So knowing how it was harvested is very important as well, because once you start to harvest it on a commercial scale, you can damage the ecology and the biosphere of the reef and the rock where these things grow. Small fish depend on this. Small fish depend on these. When they're commercially taken, what happens is the small fish have fish will not come. It is when the fish no longer has any use for it. Be very cognizant and be very your goods. So I don't think any the other people who are selling this stuff is actually the one going down there and and harvesting. And that is one thing I can tell you is that I have touched every single process of this. I have been present and physically involved in every single aspect of this from the beginning to the end, because it doesn't make any sense if I get involved in something that's A, it's not sustainable, B, it's not good for the environment, and C, it is it's not the best quality, right? I'm not going to get involved in something that is not the best quality. So that's what I got to say. Those of you who would like to participate in this business, please go ahead and email me. I'm looking uh, for partners, people who would like to purchase it, to become retailers. I do not wish to become a retailer at this present time. I am only seeking to sell as a wholesaler, as a supplier. But I also have the connect that if I wanted to move in that direction, to make this into a viable industry, it's just a matter of drying and processing and distribution, right? So that would need a whole entire operation. That would mean I would have to step away from the other things that I came to 2022 to do. But I mean, we can definitely give that a shot. But until we're there, it's an opportunity for you to get involved in this at a high quality product, right? For a high quality product. Okay, and fair market price. A lot of people don't believe in paying fair market price for African goods because they think Africans have no use for money. And I can tell you, after doing this um, for a week or so, this is hard work. This is hard work. I want you to understand. I did not. This is not coming from um, some fisherman or somewhere. This is hard work. We are doing the drying and all of every step of the process we're doing ourselves, right? And this is no easy job, no easy job. So to keep it dry, to keep the color maintained, to keep the quality maintained, to keep it out of the sun, to keep turning it and turning it and turning it to make sure that it doesn't, I don't want it to, it's going to get dry and crispy, but I want the heart of it to also dry. So instead of just getting it crispy and then, oh look, it's dried and give you this purple thing, I'm trying to intentionally dry it to keep the nutrient density as much as possible, right? So someone said they heard it on the market as black sea moss. This is the purple. This is purple and green. So the more you draw it dries, the more the color comes out, right? So do your research. Don't rely on just the internet and just the YouTubers and just the people who are saying things for their viewers and for their watching. YouTube is dangerous. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, YouTube is a dangerous ass place. It is dangerous. People want the views, they want the likes, they want the shares, they want the subscriptions. So they will say anything and everything to either get you to watch so that they can monetize their channel, so that they can gain something by providing misinformation to you. So if this is something that has been used for eons and someone suddenly gives you the counter to say, "Oh no, it's not." Da, da, da." How many people do you think are going to click on that stuff? Lots of people are going to click on it because it's a very popular thing. It's a very popular and it's widely used, and it's now one of the things that are bringing up the black economy. So anytime you see that black people are onto something that is improving their lives and improving themselves, you're going to find people or someone or even people from within the black community trying to tear that product or tear that person down, right? And why are we like that? And so YouTube has exploited and exposed the worst of the black community because people who are greedy and self-serving will say and do anything regardless of community, regardless of whatever, because it puts money in their pocket. So be careful of these monetized channels that are chasing likes and shares and subscriptions. This channel is not now, nor will it ever be monetized. I don't get a cent from YouTube. All that I get is either through people making their reservations or their donations or their whatnot, or now if people purchase what we have here, that's it, right? So I have no incentive for telling you anything that does not serve me. And so be careful of these people who are just putting things in their face, putting the phone in their face to have something to say, and going around and around in circles just so they have something to say. Be careful of that because it's not necessarily there to improve you. So if you would like to become uh, a retailer in this business, please go ahead and email me. This is not free, not because we're here in Africa, means that I don't have people to pay to get this. It doesn't mean that I don't have people that I have to pay in order to keep this drying process moving as it should, right? So, not because it's Africa or it came from the sea and I didn't go and buy it off of a fisherman who was trawling his boat and raking it off of the ocean floor. That makes what we do more labor intensive. Okay. And so there's more work involved in what we're doing over here. And so, yeah, go ahead and communicate with me. ExodusAfrica1 at gmail.com. Um, and let me know your thoughts on getting involved in this and share your ideas. Okay. All right. I'm trying to put my email. There it is. That took a minute. As you can see, we've got some things going on over here. All right, all right, y'all. Thanks so much for watching.